Okay, here we are again with the next Masters chat. We left you with the start of our competition years and the fact that we got into competition, we liked competition, and we were sort of moving through and just gaining a bit of experience. Really, the '80s were really good for both of us. We both sort of came to prominence really in the 1980s. I often say 1983 was actually a really successful year for me when I got my second degree, and competitions then they brought in the divisions, lightweight division. So I managed to I was fighting people who were taller than me but my own weight, so that was good. And then obviously Master Road towards the middle of the 80s, you came in prominence as well. So perhaps I can leave it the next bit to you. Would you like to add some to that?
Yeah. I was just thinking then that I actually sort of dropped out of competition, didn't I? I was getting into cricket, and I had a chance of playing for Gloucestershire.
Yeah.
And I say to people that Taekwondo is my life, but I have a passion for cricket. Obviously, I have a passion for Taekwondo. So I sort of went off the scene a bit, really. And I think I said last time that there are so many good fighters in each division that I thought, well, there's no point, really. I don't want to go in and just get beaten up or knocked around. And I remember that the heavyweight at the time, top heavyweight in the world, probably best Taekwondo fighter that I've ever seen, Tony Saw. He went to Italy in European Championships and dropped an axe kick on another heavyweight's head and cracked his skull. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. And Tony Saw was a fantastic fighter. I can understand and I understand your point of view there, really. But I remember sort of 1983, which was a fantastic year for me. Is really when I started to sort of realise that actually I could compete at the top level, at a high level. And soon after that, I got picked for the team to go to Los Angeles for the Master Heel Cho's World Championships, which was fantastic. But I always thought, because I was going up to squad training with Hinckley, training with the squad, and you were always a bit reluctant. And every time I used to come home every week saying, come on, you've got to come up with me. You've got to come up with me. You can compete with these guys. You can compete with these guys. You can hold your own. But for some reason, you never believed it. You never believed that you could, which was a bit frustrating for me. And, week after week, I was sort of going up to Hinckley on my own, gaining a lot of experience. I just thought that you would benefit so much from fighting against people like Tony Saul, Kim Stones, and we had a lot of good heavyweights at that time. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. That's exactly how it went. And I think in '83 we opened up Bath Taekwondo as well, which really opened our eyes. For a long time, for about 3 or 4 years, we just had sort of 16, probably 20 students. And then we got to about 86, and I think that was when I did those black belt team tournaments where I fought Hank Mayer, come back from Australia.
Yeah, we fought the Dutch team, didn't we?
Yeah, and they were, collectively sort of ITF world champions, and we fought them in the first round. And never fought. I haven't fought for a long time. Never fought in the black belt division. It's on YouTube. I thought I did really well for myself. And I remember you saying, I told you so, I told you so. The coach at the time, who we all looked up to and aspired to, actually singled me out and came up to me and said, Oggy, you got to get back into training. We could do with you. You're a really good heavyweight. And so, I was sort of on a high.
It was a good fight, because I think the other thing is you were known but slightly unknown. So I don't know if you remember, but you obviously you were fighting Hank Mayer, and I was fighting Wainan Tapalatu. Now Hank Mayer was like a multi-world champion, and so was Wainan Tapalatu. And it always made me laugh, because they sort of said, right, and next up for Holland, we've got Hank Mayer, world champion this, he's done this, he's done that. And then we've got
He was ITF and WTF champion at the time.
Well, yeah, so was Wainan
heavyweight
that I fought. And it was funny because they sort of introduced, he had this long list of accolades that he had. And I had a few time, but they sort of gave him like, yeah, this is a world champion. And then they go, and next we have Ray Gale. But
you give him a good seeing to.
Well, I beat him, and to be honest, it was a great fight for me. But also yours was awesome because Hank Mayer is. I mean, anybody seen the Hank Mayer fight would say, "Wow, this guy is well sometimes unbeatable." And the fact that you
well, yeah, he was doing lots of open competitions. He was traveling all around the world. He was sort of a professional fighter, really, taekwondo fighter in those days. And he was doing open competitions in Holland, doing kickboxing, karate competitions, and sort of winning them. And the Dutch were renowned for their axe kicking. I remember we saw for the first time in the European Championship 1979 in Crystal Palace, where we saw the axe came out then, and they were just knocking everybody out with this new kick, the axe kick. So they were renowned for that. And incidentally, there was a black and white photograph that we came across recently at the Crystal Palace Championships where General Che was walking in to do the ceremony, and there was a black and white picture, and you and I were in the background, weren't we?
Yeah,
officiating.
We were photographers for the day, actually, weren't we? Do you remember?
That's right.
Yeah. They said, "Oh, can you take a picture?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Right, you're official photographers." So we got a really, really good grandstand seat of General Che coming into into Crystal Palace. But
yeah, he turned up in a Rolls Royce, didn't he? I don't know if it was his, but I remember he turned up in a metallic blue Rolls Royce.
Yeah. We had sort of like exclusive access to him, really. But it was great because that Dutch sort of team. I think it was funny because I actually went on and I was first on and I beat Wayland Tapalato, and also prior to that there was a patterns thing as well, and I actually won the patterns. It was sparring and patterns, and I won the patterns section. I can't remember against who, and then also won my first fight. And then we lost all the other fights until it came to you, where really it was touch and go. Did they give you the decision, or did you get it? But it was really close.
No. It's like I said, my memory of it in what you actually see is slightly different. But I always remember I pressed him into the crowd a couple of times, sort of dominating. But he was quite slick with his kicks.
Yeah.
And I think right at the end he touched me with a reverse turning kick or something, and everyone jumped up in the air. And I thought, well, what was that all about? That was a big deal. And they handed it to him. Got to be honest, as I said, first fight back, never fought, for about 3-4 years, and come up against him. I was really pleased with what I achieved. Just to stand there against him, sort of, was quite aggressive towards him, and he wasn't quite sure of me. So I was really pleased with that. And then obviously, that was the same time that I just come back from Australia. I've been in Australia for about 2 months, and we were big Sugar Ray Leonard fans. And he fought Marvelous Marvin Hagler. They were called the Fabulous Four. There was two other fighters that were all around at that time. They were brilliant fighters, knocking everybody out. Slightly different from one division.
Yeah, Roberto Duran was one, and the tour.
Tommy Hearns.
Tommy Hearns, yeah. Hitman
Hearns, yeah. So Sugar Ray Leonard was the lightest out of those four fighters. And they put him with Marvin Hagler, who was just fearsome. He was just knocking everybody. He was like the Mike Tyson of the middleweight division, wasn't he?
Oh, he was awesome.
But we really liked Sugar Ray Leonard because he was flamboyant, he was very slick and very sharp with his counter punching. Although he was very slight, he could really punch above his weight. And I remember I was in Australia at the time on a cruise and tried to listen to it. I couldn't listen to it anywhere. And all of a sudden it came through the news that he'd beaten Marvin Hagler. And I remember you picked me up at the airport, and that was the first thing we said. And I thought, well, if he can do that, the Taekwondo school was going well, and all the students were asking, why am I not doing competition? I'm pressing them to do competition. I wasn't doing it myself. So I thought, yeah, I've got to at least give it a try to see how I would get on. But I mean, you were a big star at the time, weren't you, at lightweight? Everybody was singing your praises. Your International Fighter of the Year that was given to you by Ricky Ha.
Yeah, well, it was interesting, really, because although I considered myself, a reasonable fighter, the funny thing is, I was always shocked when I got picked for the team above some of the other lightweight fighters. I used to look at them and think, wow, those fighters are really, really good.
Yeah, they were really good. Yeah.
All of a sudden, I get picked and you think, crikey, But it was a strange time because, as you mentioned before, I mean, we had maybe 5 fighters at each weight that could could have all gone in there and all done extremely well. I mean, the depth, the strength in depth was just amazing, and I don't think I've seen anything like that to this day from any association. But
that's right. Well, the TAGB used to have a big profile in some of the martial arts magazines at the time. Well, you've got to remember, there was no internet. There's no. I mean, videos were quite new. And to own a video camera would cost you, a month's wages. So yeah, it was amazing that we did so well, really.
Yeah,
we kept on, didn't we? We just kept going, and I think that you definitely were the fight of the day then. But going back to what I was going to allude to is that the TAGB actually used to put on their adverts the best fighting team in the world.
Yeah.
And you've got to be pretty gutsy to say that. For a martial arts team, I think we were. We started getting involved in the team, you and I, and then all of a sudden, because I was going to squad training, it sort of lifted my game. I remember you spent weeks and weeks trying to get me front leg, slide side. What do you call it now? You have to call it now.
Well, I remember seeing you and thinking, wow, you can really kick. But I thought to myself, wow, if you could get a sliding side kick,
yeah,
nobody could get past a side kick. So I remember teaching that to you because I can't remember.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't see what you were doing.
Well, I actually started doing it because I saw Ron Sergey doing it. I thought, wow, and he was really catching a lot of people. I mean, that was years before that. So I started using it because my sidekick, I used to get them right underneath the guard. And I thought to myself, wow, with your leg length, a sliding sidekick would be amazing. I remember teaching that to you, and like you said, you couldn't get it. I was saying, no. I got it. I said, no.
I kept hopping in. I kept doing the Bill Wallace where you step up and kick.
Yeah.
He said, no, that's wrong. I said, no, that's right. Because we've been to see Bill Wallace, haven't we? And had a seminar with him. And then I thought, you had to jump into it or jump. Yeah. Well, I still can get it, but eventually I got that slide kick. Oh my gosh! Once I got that, it was just great because obviously you couldn't clinch, and if somebody came in, I'd probably hit them and then grab them if they did get past my lead leg. But I sort of made a career out of that lead leg, and I just loved it. I didn't care what situation I was in, whether it be a self-defense situation or a competition, karate, kung fu, kickboxing. I used that technique and was knocking people over with it. It was great. I wasn't knocking them out. Yeah. I was knocking them over because, I'm naturally, my fight weight is about 18 and a half, 19 stone. So if I got behind it, slid, if I connected, I was knocking people over. I remember going to competition, the BTC championships, and all these heavyweights were coming out. There was those brothers from Oxford that everybody aspired to. I beat those guys and just started beating everybody. By that time, Tony sort of stepped aside, hadn't he? He wasn't really getting involved in competition as much. Well, so I took his place, really.
I don't know if you remember, but it's funny because we used to go to competitions together, and then we used to watch people. And you used to say to me, "Oh, he's quite good," and I always used to say, "He won't get past your front leg. Don't worry about it."
That's right, yeah. And they never did.
Yeah, and then we used to go to see someone else, and then someone else come up and think, "Wow, he's really good." I said, "Nah, he ain't going to get past your front leg." So it was a brilliant weapon, really. And
but then we adopted the back fist.
Yeah.
And then you were really good at that back fist, where you sort of throw it from drop your hand down and throw it from coming up at the person rather than throwing it to the side. Yeah. You were lifting it up almost like a jab.
Well, I think I
picked that up.
I think I hit more people with that back fist than anything else in the end.
Yeah. But there was one famous competition. We were all there, weren't we? The whole team was watching you, and there was this. It was an Welsh ITF fighter. I can't remember, but I remember you were fighting him, and he looked really good. I mean, he could do all the kicks. He was doing the box splits. He could kick vertically. He was fast, and you sort of ran away from him for the first, minute of the fight. It was a 2-minute round, wasn't it?
No, 2 rounds. It was the first round.
2-minute rounds, yeah.
I think he was beating me with his legs, and I thought, I don't know how I can get past this. And then I think it was Dave Oliver. Dave Oliver said, "You've got to use your back fist." Yeah. And then the second round, I think I back fisted him to death.
Yeah, well, when you came off, you started spraying your glove. to call your glove down because you whacked him so many times.
But it was a real turnaround, and I think
yeah. So basically, you and I, what happened was, you got me back into the team, and then we started going to all these trips, didn't we? Around Europe, up and down the UK, and again, we were fighting some fearsome people, but it was just great. We were just had a bit of self-belief, self-confidence, and all of a sudden, everything was working for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and I think, I'd like to sort of lead on to the end of the 80s, because they were fantastic times. I think great times for you, and also for me as well, because I'd like to sort of talk a little bit about the first World Championships, and also the Clash of the Titans. That was quite a new event at that time, and it was a huge event, and they wanted some fantastic teams. And of course, the first three Clash of the Titans, the TAGB squad did the first three clashes, which we were involved with, which was amazing. But I don't know, perhaps you talk about the World Championships. So I remember I was a little bit disappointed in the first World Championships. Although I did well and I got to the quarterfinals, I did lose against a really good fighter, and I thought I'd won it. But that's the way it goes in competition. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But
I think that's the down thing, isn't it? Downside with taekwondo, there's no knockouts.
Yeah.
And it's good for that as well, because it allows you to be flamboyant with your fighting ability, with your kicks.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you get dreadfully robbed, don't you? And then you think, oh, come on. But that's the nature of what we do, unfortunately. You came up against a big name, and I remember thinking, yeah, you'd won it. And it just went the other way, unfortunately.
But you had a good one. Tell us about yours, 88.
Well, again, I got back into competition, and I had a couple of years I was doing really well, and then I remember I got the call that I was going to be in the actual team, so I got asked to go up to Warwick, where we went to a hotel, and a couple of martial arts magazines were there, and they were taking photographs of us. We had all our new kit. It felt so professional. It was so nice to we all went in with a jacket and tie, and then they'd lay out your top and your bottom, sparring equipment, a holdall, a t-shirt. It was just great, and then you lined up for photographs. So, I was really like, wow. But rather than talk about me, it was the first open World Championships that occurred. Up to that point, it was just ITF World Championships. So there was a real buzz about the place.
Yeah.
I come back from Australia a couple of years earlier, and I kept in contact with them, and they brought a team over, and it was good as well, because there was a guy there. I think I said it on a podcast recently that I remember I went over to Australia and I went to a local taekwondo school, and I trained a certain night, and the guy said, "Oh, be careful tonight, because the local bully's turned up. He's the national taekwondo and kickboxing champion." Oh no! And he said, he's got no control. He's real horrible person, dirty fighter. I thought, oh no. So anyway, I thought, I'm gonna fight on my skin here. So I started sparring with him straight away. He was going crazy. So I just stepped away and started learning that side kick that nobody really seen, not over there anyway. I just kept knocking him over a side kick, and at the end of the class, everyone took me out for a drink. I was the hero. The instructor used to pick me up every class and take me out for meals and tell me, how did you do that? And I thought, well, I didn't do anything really, but that was another sort of feather in my cap that made me believe that I could be a good taekwondo fighter. So they came over from Australia. We picked them up from the airport in a coach, and then we got to this first Open World Championships, and there were people from all over the world. The head of the organisation there was Master Heo Cho, who's a world-renowned taekwondo master, film star, best of the best. He's the Korean coach on that film, and I remember lining up in the teams. There were so many teams there. It was brilliant, and sort of every corner of the earth there seemed to be teams there, and I remember all our students took part. If you were if you're a school fighter, part of the association, you can wear a white dobok. But if you were a squad member, you could wear your England suit, which was a white top with red, white, and blue on the collars, and it had England on the back and your name underneath. You have blue bottoms with the white and red striping. So we really looked the business. Now I remember having my name on the back of my uniform. Thinking, wow. I actually had to throw it out recently because it rotted, but I left it outside too long.
It was great. Sort of doing that. I remember a similar situation when I got picked to go to Los Angeles to the World Championships in 84, and we even had spending money. They even gave us spending money. So we had all the kit.
Wow.
You know, kit bags, suit, and everything. They each gave us spending money. You know, we spent 10 days in on the West Coast, going to San Diego.
That'd be nice if we could do that now, wouldn't it?
Went to Las Vegas. Yeah, it was great. Sorry, go on with the 88 you were talking about.
Yeah, so we just you know, I was in the actual team. They wanted a heavyweight team because it was an open weight competition. So sadly, you missed out on that one.
I did.
I think you did well in the pattern, didn't you?
Yeah, I got to be honest. I would love to have fought then in '88 as part of a team, but obviously it was difficult. It was an open weight thing, which you know, we were sort of going, oh, you know, it's just such a shame because I think then I would have done quite well then, other than the one after World Championships after that, where I was struggling a little bit for many reasons, but. I was happy for our guys and happy for you that you'd made the team because I always knew that you were, you know, you could fight at that level. And I think I had more belief in you than you had in yourself. So I think it was great to...
Yeah, I need to thank you for that. That's very true. That's so true. And I think, again, that's what we always say to our students, isn't it? That you need a good coach, you know, a friend that can actually tell you the truth rather than just, you know, talking nonsense. You know, so many times we've seen it, haven't we, where, you know, there's a good fighter and everybody wants to be their coach. It's even happened to me, you know, some of my students, and somebody else takes over, you know, they want to coach them and it's frustrating, but I do know if you've got somebody who's close and dear to you and they say, look, you know, if you keep dropping your hands, you're going to get knocked out. And of course that happens earlier on to me. And the same for you, really. We just sort of complimented each other, didn't we? I mean, your fighting style, I tried to match you for fitness, which I couldn't. But I know that when I did fight heavyweights, it was a piece of cake because I could move around and I was quite nimble for a heavyweight. So every time I fought some of these big honey monsters that used to come in, you know, you think, oh no, not another one. You know, again, I could tell many stories of, you know, fighting the South Africans, and they had an ex-international rugby player. He was huge. I remember kicking him, he wouldn't move it. But, you know, it takes this toll, doesn't it? And if you keep hitting them, moving around, then eventually you wear them down and then you can set them up for a big shot. And even jumping techniques, I just love doing a jumping back kick, which, you know, you were the king of, you know, and I adopted that. And again, I was dropping people with it, you know, it was brilliant. If I caught somebody a jumping back kick, you know, that normally stopped the person and made them think about what they were taking on. And again, we have to say, don't we, that 88 World Championships is probably the first time that sparring equipment upgraded. You know, we then had the boxing style gloves, the open-handed boxing style gloves, and we loved that, didn't we? We loved that kit.
Yeah. I mean, it was. Just a fantastic time. And just on the side, we're probably going to have to talk about the Clash of the Titans next time because we're on 22 minutes already. Okay.
Yeah, that's enough.
but no, I mean, it was just amazing. Just the buzz of that World Championships, that first 188. And as you say, you know, even though I wasn't in the team, I got to wear like a team. All those that were in the squad got to wear like a squad uniform.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, and we had our names on the back, didn't we?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was almost sort of like a celebrity status, and we had the crowd behind us as well, which was fantastic. And it was great. And you know, I loved it for many reasons. For the reason that you were in the team, for the reason that, you know, I was going in and I wanted to do well in the sparring, the patterns, and also the destruction as well. I wanted to do well in all those three areas, which I was sort of focusing on. But also as well, I think because we had our own taekwondo school, we wanted to sort of show our students that we could actually almost show off to them in a way, really, that actually, you know, we were the real deal. We could get in there and we could mix it, and it was a fantastic thing for our school.
Our school numbers rocketed, didn't they? So we went full time 1996, and our numbers went from sort of 20 to 80, and then we went to about 120, didn't we? And I would say a lot of that was down to taking part in competition.
Well,
we're teaching the boxing style of what, you know, kickboxing style of what we did at that time.
Yeah, and also as well, if you think 88, well, in 87, we started Swindon. I started Yate. I think you were starting Newbury at the time. So we had
I came in the 90s then.
Yeah, well, we had you know, I had sort of young students and young kids, and it was great coming back and saying, they said, "Oh, sir, how did you get on?" I said, "Yeah, I won it. You know, well, you know, I did okay." And you know, English championships. I remember, you know, particularly 88 was a good English championships for me. But I think, you know, going into that World Championships and then coming back and saying to students, "So we've just been into the World Championships," and whatever. I mean, it was such a buzz for our members. And such a real you know, building block for us, for all our schools.
Yeah, and it carried a lot of status, didn't it? We were in all the newspapers back, you know, when we got back to Bristol and Bath, all newspapers. It was great. So what we'll do then is, if we the next time we talk, if we can talk about you know, we then got into sort of, you know, the really big events, didn't we? You know, all the open competitions, you know, going to Jersey International Martial Arts Competition, Germany and Holland. I think that'd be great for our next podcast. So hopefully we'll see everybody then.
And also the Clash as well. I got to remember Clash of Times, which was
Clash. Oh yeah.
Those three were just amazing. But yeah, I'd like to thank everyone again for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be back soon with Master's Chat number 4. So this will be Master's Chat number 5 next time. All right. So take care, have a good one, and stay safe, everyone.